I'm on my way to Blencarn, hopefully for a day's dry fly fishing for rainbow trout. This is one of the safer roads to Blencarn. There's about 3 ways of accessing the lake, and all of them involved travelling down quite dodgy, narrow country roads. But one route is particularly bad, which I don't go along anymore now. I've christened one of the bends on it Heart Attack Corner, because it seems to be almost impossible to go round it without meeting a tractor, a lorry or a Range Rover belting along in the opposite side of the road. Anyway, I've been to Blencarn twice already this year, a week or 2 ago, and absolutely nothing was rising. There was no movement of fish. You would have thought that the lake was empty of fish. So what I'm going to do before I pay for my ticket is I'm going to have a look at the water, see whether anything's moving and rising, and if it looks dead again, is I'm going on to try and fish Bessy Beck. Here we go, another Range Rover, Land Rover. The roads along here seem to be populated with everybody that's got anything to do with Land Rover, Range Rovers. You tend to meet them all on the blind corners. But as you can see with the setting of Blencarn, the scenery is just absolutely fabulous. Okay. Somebody repairing a dry stone wall, which probably a vehicle has crashed into. Maybe meeting another Range Rover that he wasn't expecting. Oops. I say you're always 10 seconds away from Blencarn, but for goodness sake, drive safely along here. Ah, they've got a new sign up. And nobody's fishing yet. Well, I'm on my way now to Bessy Beck. I gave up Blencarn. I got out of the car. I spent quite some time looking for any signs of fish, and there wasn't anything rising. The air was full of flies. There was a lot of hawthorn flies, which normally fish go daft on the water and in the air, nothing moving. So I went and had a look at the returns book, and over the last few weeks there's been no more than 3 fish caught maximum, which is not a good sign at all, because on a normal year especially after it had been restocked for the spring, you would see returns of 15, 20, you know, even as much as 25 fish caught on Jack Frosts and Fritz and things. So to see those kind of low returns, I thought, well, I'll give it a miss and I'll come along to Bessy Beck and see what's going on. Well, I got myself to Glencarn, and they turned out on the main lake. There's 3 lakes, and on the main lake there was a match on which was taking place for most of the day. So I was restricted to these 2 smaller lakes. It didn't matter because there was fish rising in just about any place that you could cast a fly into. What I was finding though is that probably because quite a few fish had been hooked and maybe landed a few times, that they were coming up enthusiastically for the fly, and in quite a lot of cases not actually taking it down. So you just had to find something that triggered a proper response. I started off with 7-pound nylon because there are some really big fish in Glencarn, but I scaled it down to 4-pound breaking strain because I think with the bright conditions and the amount of flies the fish had seen, I needed to give myself a bit of an edge. There you see, I'm into a fish. And I'm not into a fish, and it didn't last long, that one. It's quite a strong fish. At the side of the ponds there was these sort of wrapped up bits of hay and straw, which I think is a way of controlling algae bloom. Anyway, it certainly seemed to be working because the water was pretty clear. That you can see fluttering at the side of the screen is 1 or 2 of my head hairs, which certainly need clipping. Most anglers were getting the odd fish. One chap opposite me to the far left was having a belting day. He was virtually catching a fish every 10 minutes. That was another one just missed. It is very tempting to tighten too early with these bigger fish because you get such a disturbance when they're coming up for the fly. You think they've actually got it in the mouth before they have. Anyway, I'm pleased I didn't persevere with Glencarn. I'm sure there are plenty of fish in it, but for whatever reason they're feeding on the bottom, and I like to fish in the first 6 inches of water. When I can see what's going on, that's where I'm happiest. There we go again. What I'm using is a snow bee GX something or other. And off again. Shit. And I'm also using the Equinox geared fly reel, which has its uses when you've hooked a fish, because no matter how quick the fish decides to run round the place, you can keep up with it very easily with the geared fly reel. But I had to keep the drag set pretty low, because with this 4-pound breaking strain leader, if you have a bit of resistance with the drag, you can be snapped the instant the line tightens up. You know, when your flies are in the 14 to 16 size region, you don't have a lot of scope for being a bully with fish. And this fishery breeds its own fish, and they're always extremely fit. On occasions you look at a fish and think, how the devil did you fight that hard? And another one. That's something. And this one's had me all over the lake. Oh, leaving Bessy Beck now. Well, in the end I had half a dozen fish. I should have had a lot more. The fish were dropping off, but enjoyed the day. Good sport. A bizarre incident at the end of the day is that I got a really nice rainbow on the dry fly. Took all the fly line out, and the knot I'd used for the backing came off. So my fly line then just started scootering across the lake, and I had to use the help of another couple of anglers to cast over it and retrieve the fly line. When I got hold of the fly line again, the fish was still on, but it was fighting in a very sort of jagged kind of way, and eventually pulled itself off the hook. It would have been nice to have seen how big it was, because they do have some very big fish in Bessy Beck anyway. But still a good day, and I'm really surprised that fly line came away from the back end, because I've never had that happen in probably now nearly 60 years of fly fishing. So still, it's a first for everything. So if you've stopped with me to this point, thanks very much. Please subscribe, because it really helps getting my YouTube videos seen. Thanks very much. Bye for now. Bye.